The chandeliers above the Grand Meridian Hotel burned like small suns, throwing light over silk gowns and polished shoes, while judgment moved quietly between the tables. That was the night a single father walked into a world that had already decided he did not belong, carrying nothing but borrowed confidence and a past heavy with loss. What followed would turn a room full of power silent, not with anger or wealth, but with dignity sharpened by struggle. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet strength of ordinary people, please take a moment right now to like this video, share it, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this matter because they remind us who we really are. The gala was hosted in downtown Chicago, a charity event meant to celebrate global leadership and innovation. Invitations were rare, tailored for executives, investors, and cultural icons. Aaron Brooks arrived late, not because he was careless, but because he had worked a double shift before dropping his daughter with a neighbor who owed him a favor. His suit was clean but clearly older, pressed carefully by hand, the cuffs worn thin from years of use. He walked with the posture of someone used to being invisible, yet determined not to disappear. People glanced at him, then away, as if their eyes had brushed something unfinished. Aaron was a single father to a 9-year-old named Sophie, a bright child with a love for maps and flags. Her mother had died 3 years earlier after a sudden illness, leaving Aaron to juggle parenthood, debt, and grief with no safety net. He had once been a promising linguistics graduate, a man who loved languages because they opened doors between people. Life, however, had closed most of his. He now worked as a warehouse coordinator, translating manuals on the side for extra income, saving every spare dollar for Sophie's future. Across the room stood Marcus Hale, the evening's unofficial star, a celebrated CEO with a sharp jaw and sharper reputation. Marcus was known for his global acquisitions and ruthless humor. He thrived on attention and fed on approval, and tonight the room offered both in abundance. When his eyes landed on Aaron, they lingered longer than necessary. Something about the worn suit and cautious stance amused him. Laughter soon followed, subtle at first, then shared among those eager to align with power. Aaron felt the shift in the air. He recognized it from years of being underestimated. He stood near a column, listening as conversations flowed around him like a river he could not enter. The irony was painful. This was a global gala, yet empathy was in short supply. He considered leaving early, but then he remembered Sophie asking him to be brave, to go where he felt small because that was where growth happened. The evening progressed with speeches praising innovation and inclusion. When Marcus Hale took the stage, applause thundered. He spoke confidently about global markets, international teams, and the importance of communication. His words smooth and rehearsed. As he scanned the crowd, his gaze returned to Aaron, and his expression carried a smirk that did not go unnoticed by those closest to him. He made a passing remark about how not everyone in the room understood the language of success, drawing polite laughter that cut deeper than open insult. Aaron felt heat rise in his chest, not from anger alone, but from a lifetime of being reduced to appearance. He thought of the nights he had spent studying by lamplight, learning French from old tapes, Spanish from coworkers, Mandarin from online forums, Arabic from a retired neighbor, and German from a library book held together by tape. He had learned not for prestige, but for connection, for survival, for the belief that understanding others could still change something. When the program opened the floor for brief acknowledgments from attendees involved in international outreach, Aaron surprised himself by stepping forward. The room quieted, more out of curiosity than respect. He introduced himself simply, mentioning his work coordinating logistics for immigrant-owned suppliers and volunteering as a translator at community clinics. His voice was steady, his posture firm. Then, without warning, he shifted seamlessly into French, thanking partners from Montreal. He moved into Spanish, acknowledging small businesses from Texas and California. Mandarin followed, then Arabic, then German, each transition effortless, each pronunciation precise. The room changed. Smiles faded. Whispers stopped. Even Marcus Hale leaned forward, his expression frozen between disbelief and calculation. Aaron did not boast or perform. He spoke of people, of bridges built quietly, of respect earned through listening. He ended by returning to English, reminding the room that intelligence often wears plain clothes, and that humility speaks every language. The applause that followed was not polite. It was real, rising, and unstoppable. Marcus Hale clapped too, slower than the rest, his face tight. Power had shifted, not to Aaron, but away from arrogance. People approached Aaron afterward, not with pity, but with interest. A foundation director named Nathan Cole offered him a consulting role. A university dean named Rebecca Lawson asked about guest lectures. None of it felt like revenge. It felt like recognition long overdue. As the night wound down, Aaron stepped outside into the cold Chicago air, breathing deeply. He thought of Sophie, of her maps and dreams, and of how tonight would sound when he told her that being kind and prepared mattered more than being loud. He had not silenced the room to shame anyone. He had done it to remind himself that his story was not small. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of someone overlooked or underestimated, please take a moment to like, share, and engage with this video. Your support helps stories like this reach the people who need them most. Before we end, we have one special request. Please comment the word dignity if you believe respect should never depend on wealth or status. The gala lights dimmed, but something brighter followed Aaron home that night. It was the quiet certainty that no matter how the world measured success, his worth was fluent in every language that mattered.